Did somebody say it's time to help out Patrick Mahomes? Because it feels like this 2024 draft class was meant for exactly that. When we look at Xavier Worthy and Kingsley Suamataia in the first 2 rounds, the Chiefs decided on day 3 their first selection was going to be for a tight end. Not something I expected, but a lot of you were asking for. Out of TCU, Jared Wiley was now added to the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Guys going to be able to be used in their 12 and 13 personnel sets right off the bat. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is RGR Football. My name is Daniel Harms, Senior Film Analyst. And like I said, today we are breaking down the tight end out of TCU, Jared Wiley. Kind of had a really good combine for himself. He didn't run the short shuttle, but he did run his 3-cone at 7.19. Not great, but it's not bad. And a 4.62 40 with a 1.62 10-yard split, 37-inch vertical, and a 9.10 broad jump. Those are really good numbers. Really athletic guy. He's big. He's fast. He's measured in at 6'6", 250 with 33.25-inch arms. Got really good hands, size, length. He uses all of those in his game. The one area where I'm a little interested on it and going to see why this happened was his production. He only amassed 1,013 yards in 5 seasons in college football across 2 universities. He played at Texas for 3 seasons, then transferred to TCU for his last 2 years. That's really where he actually put himself on the map a little bit, amassing 71 receptions for 765 yards and 12 touchdowns over his 2 seasons at TCU. So this last year for him was his biggest, 520 yards on 47 receptions and 8 touchdowns. So he didn't really break out as a player, but there is a reason that he was drafted on day 3, early on day 3, pick 31. But still, for the Chiefs, this early for a tight end shows you that they're very comfortable with his versatility, his skill set, what he's going to bring to the offense. So let's jump in and show you exactly what he's going to bring, because it's hard to see him right here, but he is up at the top of your screen all the way out wide. These first few clips, I'm going to be showing you guys multiple ways where he was aligned. He's lined up out wide here. And I'm also going to use this to show you guys a little bit of one of their players that they added as a UDFA right here with Amani Bailey out of TCU. They're back out of the backfield there with a nice catch. But we're looking at the top of your screen with Jared Wiley lined up as, the wide player there in a stack formation off the line of scrimmage, just running a little bit of a curl. But again, showing you exactly what he's doing, lined up all the way on the outside. So TCU had no problem lining him out wide, running him against either linebackers, safeties, whoever was coming up against him. But then, like I said, here's Amani Bailey making a guy miss and get into open space, doing some good stuff that you want to see from a UDFA running back. Now you've got Jared Wiley here in a bunch formation on the right-hand side as that apex player. This is where I'm going to be interested to see how he can be integrated into the Chiefs offense, because we know they've been missing that verticality. So here it's really nice hesitation, outside jab step, inside release, hands swipe over, and he's able to clear downfield with acceleration and burst and get open. That's what I'm looking for one of these bigger, faster tight ends. How can you integrate yourself into a vertical style offense immediately? Like I said, here, you can take a little bit of an inside step. Initially, hesitation, move to the outside with that right foot, come back to the inside, and then run a deep over route. We've seen this kind of route combination before, right? With the deep over route combined with a go route down the right-hand side, or vice versa. We like to see, it was the underneath receiver, but still that same route combination where you have the apex defender or the apex receiver going down the field, all 3 of them really going down the field from that bunch formation. But we have seen the Chiefs do this multiple times. We also typically see either one or both from the same side, again, going vertical down the middle of the field and one coming across to really put those safeties in a bind. So imagine you've got this 6'6" guy in Kansas City and Jared Wiley in 12 personnel with Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, and Marquise Brown on the field at the same time. That's something that I'm very much looking forward to seeing. But that's already 2 different spots. We've seen him in a bunch formation as an apex receiver and all the way out wide. Now we get him a little bit in the slot usage in the slot. It's always nice to see tight ends, again, moved around the formation as legitimate receivers and not just a big body tight end where we're going to force you to play as a true tight end. No, times have changed. They're different now. So here he's fake blocking for a screen, and then he releases a little bit of a fade wheel down the left-hand side, and he's going to use his acceleration, ball catching, and ball tracking on display here. So this is something that we see, or that I saw a lot from TCU. A lot of screens, a lot of fake screens. It just does feel like they were more inclined to come out here and fake some stuff and get one of these players or possibly the running back out on the back here. But regardless, he's going to motion back inside and I believe come back out here with a play action if I'm not mistaken. So still, it's that fake usage, trying to get the ball out quickly and then allowing your playmakers to get into space that you've created based off of offensive movement, alignment, and getting that defense to trigger a little bit downhill. So there's 11, bounces back to the outside, fake that screen. Wiley gets a little bit tripped up there with a little bit of hold from that defender, but again, we see the speed down the sideline and his ability to separate from second level defenders. He's not going to continuously run away from safeties and corners, but that's not what I expect him to. He's big and fast to run away from those bigger safeties and linebackers in the NFL. So nice ball tracking as well. He's not somebody that drops the ball a ton. You don't see a ton of concentration drops on his tape, and excuse me, and that's really helpful for him, especially because he can use those 33-inch arms and really showcase what he's all about. Now we see him lined up in a completely different look as this H-back in a semi-loaded backfield, offset H-back with the pistol and quarterback. You get a little bit of different feel for where Jared Wiley is. Again, looks like he's coming out the block, and then he stops, realizing that defender is going to keep going with his hips turned to the opposite side. He comes into a more of a curl. And so one of the things that I have noticed about his game is that, he's a little bit of a little intention, a little bit of speed. Dilation means messing with his speeds as he's getting out into his routes. But right here, as he's going down the field, he's paying attention to the defender. Okay. So this is, again, just a little bit of a slow wheel, slow developing wheel. And you're going to see out here the defender who comes with him. You're going to watch as he gets out here. When he flips his hips to keep carrying Wiley downfield, this is where he stops and really gets to the sideline. So here again, looking for a block, making it look like this is, again, another fake with an end around formation. And this is where right there, that defensive back turned his hips, head this way, hips that way, while he's going to stop here, come back around, and be available to his quarterback. So good play from Wiley here as he's coming out of the backfield, seeing that, I've got space here. I'm in it to be able to get this first down and second down. And I'm going to go ahead and make that play happen. But one of the things that I will say is that he's not the best tackle breaker in this class, especially at tight ends. He's a big guy, but he's not super physical after the catch and things like that. So just something to monitor for him going forward. He's a much better player in space than he is creating it for himself by breaking tackles after the catch. So right here, again, now we have a completely different formation. Again, he's lined up as a sniffer on that left-hand side. And they're going to run a little bit of a split zone fake. So they're going to run split zone and they're also going to add like a jet sweep off of it. So you have motion right to left, the offense, which is going to come step out this way. And then you have that sniffer coming back to the opposite side. So you have horizontal shifts, moving that defense around, getting the defense to also think that this is going to be a run inside zone, a little bit of movement downhill. So you see lots of different stuff triggering this right here. And at the mesh point, you have a couple of guys there, and then you get Jared Wiley, the ball on a sniffer release to the flat out of that split zone look. So lots of different usage we're seeing from TCU and their big man here. And this is just, again, creating space for him to run into. Now you see his acceleration there up the sideline. He does attempt the hurdle. I always love seeing big guys trying to hurdle. That makes me really happy because, they believe in their ability to be athletes and really good athletes. And we've seen Travis Kelce do that quite a bit. So again, here's that formation. You get those defensive players coming downhill and boom, into space with Jared Wiley. This is something the Chiefs do a lot as well with those jet formations, those jet sweeps, and they move their tight ends around quite a bit as well. They do. This year specifically, we saw Noah Gray be used a lot on those split zone looks where he's the one moving across the formation. So I like that they're using that already. And now we're going to get into what he is kind of as a tight end, or an attached tight end. So he's slightly detached from the offensive line right here on the right-hand side. But this is part of the blocking aspect that you need to be able to provide. On a backside zone play, this is just inside zone. He goes down, condenses with the offensive line, and whiffs on his block. So a little bit of lunging, a little bit of overhang here. What I mean by overhang is gets over himself. So head, shoulders kind of dip as he's going to come forward here to try to block out. Really keep your base right here and extend into this defensive player with your arms. Keep your chest up. You want to keep that base underneath you so you can once again block. Now, this is a backside block, so it's not as huge of a problem, but the fact that you're going to come inside condense and just kind of miss right here, it does show up on his tape all over the place. And once again, you guys get a little bit of flavor from Amani Bailey out of the backfield for TCU here on this inside zone run. Just, okay, space, I'm going to make you miss, come and cut inside, and then, I'm going to make you miss, going back out. He's definitely more elusive and quicker than his testing is when it comes to on-field performance. So just giving you guys a little bit of flavor. But also, like, right here, Wiley misses his block, and he's just kind of walking around. One of my pet peeves for players is when you just stop. Especially as a tight end, a faster tight end, a bigger guy, go find someone to block. Finish the play. Don't just say, I missed my guy. I see him over there. I'm going to stop. The effort concerns are apparent for me. Not all the time, but he does check out. And that's not my favorite thing to see from a tight end, especially in the blocking scheme. I understand that you're not really good at blocking, but you need to be able to give me more effort. If you miss a block, go find somebody else, especially if you are a backside blocker. Go find someone else, hit somebody, make an effort, make a block. So now we get more alignment. This time he's attached to the right-hand side of the offense. We're going to do a little bit of single back power, and so he is play side. This play is going to the right, and he's good at getting to the second level. We see he can really burst forward and get to that second level. That ability, again, to just kind of explode out of his stance. It's all there. It's all good. This is where I'm like, what's going on? He's in space. He's stopping. He's waiting, and just stops. I understand you don't know where the running back is going, but you need to be more attached as a blocker. You need to not fall off blocks so much. Get to the second level, hit somebody. He's waiting for you. Go hit him. And again, maybe you missed that block too because he's a quicker player. But if you get hands on him, start driving. Grab a little bit underneath the shoulder pads. That's where you can block a little bit. That's where you can get grabby. And that's what I wanted to see a little bit more from Jared Wiley's film. Just be a bit more of a physical blocker, because I don't see a ton of huge physical tools that he's exerting on himself, on other players, to really make this impactful. But once again, we're going to focus off of Jared Wiley for a second and give you guys a little bit of what we're doing here. Why Amani Bailey was brought into Kansas City. He is a good back. I think he's a very good back, and I think that he's somebody specifically for what we already know the Chiefs are doing in camp, and still even in rookie camp, they're putting in some more, installing some more power schemes. I think Jared Wiley was talking specifically about that. So you've got single back power. This guard is going to come down and pull and get this. Maybe it's trapped. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but again, going play side, they're going this way. So I'm going to say single back power, and then you're just going to see him get into here. Follow his blocks from that guard right there. You see the right guard fake like he's going to block, and then come down to hill here. You're going to take the guard, hit there, block down from the tackle, fit the run. Well, right there, boom, gets in there. If this is blocked from Wiley a little bit better, just a little bit better, he maybe gets a little bit some more yards. So just a nice play from TCU, and Bailey really executing that to a high level. So just want to see more from Wiley, the tight end, as a blocker, being a little bit more physical, use that length of yours and get that base under you to be able to continue to make those plays and make your running back right at the end of the day. And this is where I'm talking about, and he has some of it. So now he's attached again to the right-hand side of the formation, and he is play side once again. We are also going to ignore these pants. from Iowa State. I don't know what they were thinking, but this is not the fashion choice you guys want to stick with. Promise you, it does not look like you're wearing any pants at all. But we get a down block on the defensive end, defense tackle here, and then Wiley gets to the second level and actually uses a little bit of physicality, right? He stays attached to that block a little bit. So maybe he's going to be better against linebackers. Maybe he's going to be better against bigger players in general. But we get a little bit of pin pull action. You're going to block down, block down, block down again. Wiley's going to help block and then get to the second level here. Then you're going to pull around and through here with the two backside offensive linemen. And then that's where you get that nice fill job. And again, nice job here all the way through. Bailey follows his blocks, gets in there. You know, he doesn't have that burst, that run away from everybody burst. But again, you see Wiley down here blocking. He's going to help block here and then bounce here. That's what you're looking for, especially for this alignment from your defensive end. And then you see that guy scraping across. Go get him. Go get him. Go make a play. You help. Coleman, put a shoulder on him. And then, you're getting your running back into space. So one of the areas that I think that we've already kind of seen from him, and I know we're spending a lot of time on blocking, but we're showing you all the aspects of what a tight end is being asked to do and the different ways that he's asked and he was being used in TCU, I think is very important to showcase. So here again, kind of that apex receiver in a bunch formation. Now you're also play side once again. You're asked to block, okay? He lets guys into his chest too. Like he just got bullied back. And where you meet your blocker, where you meet your defender, you need to be forcing the issue. So here again, we get Wiley coming out here. You need to be, okay, drive block. I need to get him. I need to move this guy down. I need to continue drive, keep my feet under me, keep that base nice, and then go. But instead, lets him into his shoulders. And this, more than likely not in the NFL, is going to be a tackle right there instead of Bailey being able to kind of bounce off of it and get going. This is a fun play too. This is their Wildcat swipe. So we've seen, I have a couple of clips on Twitter if you guys want to Google, or search that. Wipe is where you have, it's just a zone formation. It's just a zone block, outside zone here, but they pull the center and get him into a more favorable look. So you get everyone moving to the left, but you move that center out with a little bit of a pull there. So I like running that. I like that they ran it, and it's always fun to see. Oh, my apologies. That's not wipe at all. That's my fault. I thought that it was the center moving. It's not the center. It's the center blocking down and then pulling the guard to lead block on this Wildcat. So that's my fault. Sorry. But still, fun to see the guard get out there and pull and the center block down to be able to do that. So just want to see Wiley. Again, the play strength. The play strength concerns are on his tape, and that's something that concerns me right out the gate because you can be physical with him. You can be physical, and linebackers and safeties are going to come downhill. They're going to be physical with you in the NFL. You have to be able to play through that, and that's where some of these plays coming on his tape. You can, again, at the top of his route, he can be pushed off a spot. And again, an offense based off of timing and being in the same spot where Patrick Mahomes expects you to be, and you're being pushed off your spot, you have to be able to run this out. Use your own hands at the top of your route if you have to. Swipe his away and cleanly break on this out. You have to be able to, again, be getting out of your breaks on time right here. It's like he didn't even feel that this linebacker come dropping into his zone here could push him over. Like you cannot allow that to happen consistently. And this is a very consistent thing for Wiley. And once again, you see him doing the exact same thing here on the right-hand side, attached, going up the middle of the defense, and right here being pushed, just rerouted. Right here is where you want to be. And this is, again, where he ends up. So based off timing and spot, where are you supposed to be on the field? All of these things are important. So you have to work the play strength. You also, as a receiver, need to be able to work your hands. And obviously he gets open here, and then this becomes a play. But regardless, work your hands. Feel that this linebacker that's dropping into a zone can just push me, because oftentimes when they are dropping into that zone, this does happen. You get pushed off your spot. Use hands. All right, maybe a little bit of inside intention, drop back out yourself, but then cut that corner. So what I mean by that is you can intentionally route this inside and then come back out around, but like swim over or use your hands, or when you are stemming your route inside, use that to your advantage, because the linebacker's not going to be getting out to this spot. Use that to your advantage and use the speed and quickness that you have as a player to be able to stay on that same line, because route spacing also matters. Right here, you get pushed into someone else's route space. These two players aren't supposed to be there at the same time. Like right here, this is not supposed to be this close. So you're putting more defenders in the same area when you're not in the right spot. So that's a couple of things. Working on his blocking, his play strength, and being able to muscle through at the top of your route or use your hands at the top of your route to keep those linebackers and safeties from pushing you and bumping you and rerouting you. You have to be available in that regard. So now let's talk about Jared Wiley, the player who's going to be used in space, be schemed into space, and what he does from an offensive-minded perspective, because there's a lot of things that you can utilize this player for. And I think 12 personnel right out of the gate is a huge advantage for him. I do think that he's got some manipulation tactics in his own arsenal right now as a stem player. You're going to see him just kind of intentionally route this outside. So he's going to take it up outside and then cut underneath when he sees that linebacker getting a little bit too wide himself, and he gets into space down the seam of a too high defense. That's exactly what you want to see, up the pipe of that defense. So they rotate down a little bit, so you have still two high players here. And when we see, again, Wiley just kind of screaming down the middle of the field here because of understanding that he's got that space and those linebackers are changing responsibilities. Great use of his hands. And then you see that right after the catch. He comes down. He knows that defender, that safety player is there, right? So he sees, before he turns his head around, he knows that this guy is coming to him. So when he's processing his after the catch stuff, you see that become apparent. You see that become apparent when he's going to post catch, right? So nice extension. He tries to plant and get around, gets tackled. Like, you'd like to see him break that tackle. It'd be very nice to see him break that tackle. But at the end of the day, Wiley does a nice job here. Again, extending, using his arms, his hand strength, catch this football over the middle of the field right there. Clear that linebacker underneath, eyes to the quarterback, extension. Again, moving his shoulders around to catch that, get them out of the way, and then try to do the same thing as he breaks down and get upfield. He almost does it and then gets tackled. So I like all the things that we're seeing from him from an offensive weapon perspective. I'm not going to ask him to be Noah Gray right out of the gate. No one wants him to have to bear that burden as a blocker. I think Noah's gotten really good at being a blocker, but he's going to be useful and very vital in 13 personnel sets and 12 personnel sets. He's going to stretch the field. He's going to bring a lot of what Jody Fortson brought to this offense right out of the gate. And again, you're betting on some upside. He played quarterback in high school, transferred to tight end as a college player, didn't get a lot of production. So I know that he's still technically learning the position, but I want to see more polish from him, and that's something that he can do with Travis Kelce in his ear, in his room, and all that kind of stuff. So just a little sniffer action, going to fake the block, fake pass protection, and then release right out the field into open space. We've seen the Chiefs do this a couple times as well with their tight ends. Specifically, I go back to the Matt Moore and Green Bay game a few years ago after Patrick Mahomes got hurt. This is one of the plays that it's reminiscent of it, because you saw Travis kind of fake block and then release out to the middle of the field and just catch a big play there. This is almost exactly the same kind of feel. You want to bring those defensive players in. We're seeing this a lot more in the NFL as well. Draw them in like you're not actually going to go out for a route, and then boom, you're out for a route, catch, and get into space. Like, this is pure Andy Reid, pure Chiefs offensive stuff that we're seeing from him right now. Again, he caught 8 touchdowns this past season at TCU, so he's got a nose for the end zone. I think can use his extension very well, those 33-inch arms. He's got strong hands. He doesn't really drop the football in terms of those concentration drops, and he does have strong hands through contact. So, all in all, the Chiefs already, again, have that Jody Fortson type player. He's got upside as a blocker. I just don't think you're going to use him in that sense right out the gate because it doesn't make a lot of sense for him. So 13, 12, we saw last year the Chiefs used a ton of 13 personnel and primarily throw out of it. He adds an element that Blake Bell just couldn't bring. And blocking for the Chiefs tight ends is now kind of an elective. You don't necessarily have to with this tight end room. So all in all, like I said, he's going to bring a lot of verticality to the tight end room, something that they don't have right now. And as good as Travis is fantastic. You don't want to use him as that vertical weapon anymore. You can bring him to continue to use the short to intermediate parts and not have to strain all the time down the field, even though he's still going to use some of those as well. So that's Jared Wiley, who's going to bring that to this offense, continue to add more speed and vertical to the offense that they've really been missing over the last couple of seasons, to bring that fear back into the defenses, that Patrick Mahomes can still get the football down the field. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're new to the channel, hit that sub button and the like button on the way out. Tell a friend, and all those things considered really get us out there to the rest of Chiefs Kingdom. I hope I was able to earn a like from you guys from this video today, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day and week.